Welcome to Weaving Happiness Through Grief, where we navigate the delicate balance between love, loss, and the resilient heart. I'm Stephanie, an author and storyteller who found joy and healing after the unimaginable heartbreak of losing a once-in-a-lifetime love. This podcast dives into the raw truth of grief, the beauty of cherished memories, and the hope of new beginnings. Through my journey, rediscovering happiness and opening my heart again, I've learned that grief and joy can coexist, and love can find us when we least expect it. Join me as we honor the past, embrace the present, and step boldly into the future with courage and vulnerability. Let's celebrate the resilience of the human spirit and the beauty of living fully, even after a loss. Welcome back. When Jeff and I had to say goodbye all the time for this 3.5 years we spent between California and Canada, or US and Canada, but I would say California and Edmonton area, it was really tough. It was really tough. I mean, we had some goodbyes, like one time he was in California, I was driving him to the airport, and we just sat there at the airport crying. I mean, like babies crying, like something had just happened horrible. And we couldn't bring ourselves to say goodbye. And all of a sudden we hear on the loudspeaker, Jeff Dunphy, you need to get to your flight. We're closing the doors any minute. And he takes off, runs through, luckily we were at Ontario Airport, a small airport. He took off, runs through TSA with his flip-flops in his hand, took his belt off, and he's running through, and he caught the flight at the last second. Another time, something very similar happened, and he missed the flight. They closed the door on him, and then he had to take a taxi back to LAX. But we got another couple hours together. So these moments for us, like if we got another hour, 5 minutes, like we hung on to every minute, every hour we could get together. One time I was in Canada, and we had done a side trip to Radium. We went quadding, we barbecued. I made him these little Nanaimo bars. They're from a small island in British Columbia called Nanaimo. And they're these yummy little treats. And he was not a big fan of sweets, but he loved these because he loved coconut, and they had a coconut base. So I made them for him. I think that was his birthday weekend up in Radium. And made them for him. He absolutely loved them. We had just a very romantic getaway. The day prior of us leaving, I'm packing up my bags, and we're getting ready to, knowing the next day is the airport. And we just hated those goodbyes. He had like these hearts he made of chocolate kisses. He had them all over the bed in the shape of hearts when I first got there. Everything was romantic to him. The weekend was romantic, and it wasn't anything big and extravagant. It was just these little touches that we did for one another, like the sweet treats for him, or the hearts he would do for me, or all the Post-it notes he would leave around the house, in my purse, in the car, in my briefcase, anywhere at all. Those little touches were the things that just continued to connect us and grew our hearts stronger and stronger. So as I was packing my bags and we were ready to leave Radium for the next day, we could feel that, kind of that sick feeling in our stomach, like we didn't want it to end. We're heading to the airport the next morning. From Radium, you go through this beautiful passway, and it's absolutely gorgeous. You go past Banff, you go past Canmore, and you get back to Calgary, and then he was going to take off up to Edmonton, about a 3-hour drive up, and I'd fly down to LA, a few-hour flight. We get into just past Canmore, and he stopped for some fuel, and he was driving his diesel truck. We get there, and we're both kind of, normally we're touching. We hold hands. We love to touch, whatever it might look like. But in that car ride was one of the ones where we just didn't like to, we could feel our bodies, like we wanted to be away from one another because we could feel the pull already happening. So we slightly, almost just automatically would distance ourselves, just being sad in our little corners of the truck. And tears were coming out, and he went to put some fuel in the truck. And he comes back in the truck. And we start driving, and it didn't take but a few seconds, and we could hear this sputtering coming from the engine. He looks over, he's like, fuck! And I'm like, what? Like, what happened? He put regular gas in a diesel truck. Immediately he knew, and I didn't drive a diesel, So I didn't really know right away. I've learned since. But you don't do that, obviously. It will ruin the engine. So you can't drive it. You have to stop the truck. So we stopped it. We had to call a tow truck. And he was getting ready to take me to the airport. So needless to say, I never caught that flight from Calgary. The tow truck comes, takes us back to the Calgary area. They have to keep it overnight. They have to drain the fuel, start all over essentially. We needed to find a hotel so I can catch my flight the next day because I missed the flight that night. As sad as we were, and was what a disappointment that was for him for the truck, we found this little silver lining, which we like to find whenever we could. And that silver lining was, we got another night together. We got more time together. And for us, it was like the beginning of our relationship. Like even from when we said goodbye at the airport taxis in Vegas, time, like we were always in a battle with time. Like we just wanted more time together. So we're at the airport. We talked to the people at the counter, found a new flight. Now we're trying to get a hotel to stay the night so I can catch a flight in the morning. He can go get his truck and drive back up to Edmonton. I don't know what was going on, but every hotel nearby was booked solid. We could not find a room. We called over and over, and no one had a room available. There was one hotel connected to the airport. It's called the Delta, which is I think an off branch of the Westin Properties. So we go over to the Delta Hotel, which is right connected to the Calgary airport, and we get there, and she'd already told us there was nothing available on the phone. We thought, let's just go. It's right here. Let's go try. So we talked to the young lady at the counter, and no, we have no rooms, and we kind of were begging, like, we have nowhere to stay. We don't want to get a cab to go far away, then to only come back first thing in the morning. Can you please check and look and see? And she checked with her manager, and she came back, and she said, well, I have one room. It's kind of the way she looked at us, we could tell there was something wrong with the room, but we didn't know what. And I said, as long as it's clean and it's safe, we don't care. So she said, here's the key. You go downstairs to the lower level, probably where all the conference rooms are. And we get there. She had no number on the door, but we had the key, and she explained, get out of the elevator, make a right, and you'll see the door, and explained where it was. So we used our key card. We get in the room. There's no windows in the room. It's a very strange looking room. And there's a big pole in the middle of the room. And Jeff and I immediately, and there was no bed, by the way. It was like a Murphy bed that was up against the wall. So it was like a flat room, and there's a big pole with no windows. And immediately we looked at each other, and we both knew right away that this was where they had to have stripper parties. Like whether they do or not, we never knew, but we thought for sure this is where they had stripper parties because it looked just like a stripper room. Not that I'd been in one, but that's what it sure looked like if I was to imagine one. We laughed about it all night long. We went upstairs to the bar, grabbed a bottle of wine, pulled the Murphy bed out. It was this terribly uncomfortable bed. Laughed all night, drank a bottle of wine, and it was the easiest goodbye the next day. Really no tears. We enjoyed the night, and we had a lot of fun laughing about it. We made the decision for Jeff to move to California. The distance was getting too unbearable for us, and we didn't know how much longer we had to go. My son he was the youngest of mine, had a couple years of high school to go. His were already out of the house. My oldest, Maddie, she was already out for college as well. And so through conversations, we decided it made the most sense for Jeff to move to California or wait a couple more years and then decide if I would move to Canada. When he moved to California, I flew up, we got the U-Haul, we filled everything in it, including some of his lamb's rum that he loved, and came to California. It was only 3 highways divided us. We didn't even realize that at the time. You take the 2 south, get onto the 15 to the 60, and then we were in Chino Hills. Turned our street, got into it. I'd bought a home. Right when I'd met him, I had just bought a home, and he helped me pick out some of the things I was doing, designed the backyard and the pool and all these things. And it was really creating this space and this life together. And it was all coming together, and it was all forming into what our imaginations hoped it would be. One of the pieces that was still kind of missing was we had to figure out what we were going to do for work. Jeff being a respiratory therapist, I was an attorney. Although I had taken off time after I'd practiced initially after law school for about 7 years. Then I took off about 15 years to raise my children. And then I had gone back after, when I was divorcing, I went back to be able to have another career again and pay for the bills, college, and all these kinds of things. He was still a respiratory therapist, which he had been for 28 years. He decided to give up his career, move to California, and our thought was, let's buy a business. We'll find something we want to do together. His career was saving lives. He dealt with life and death every day. And he didn't talk about it much because he was in the ICU where he worked, and it was very painful, and there was a lot of hard losses and a lot of hard moments for him and very emotional. And for me, as an attorney, it also wasn't very fun. I mean, I was a defense attorney, in-house counsel for Liberty Mutual Insurance. People were coming to me with problems, lawsuits, that lifestyle. It really wasn't our personalities in the sense of we wanted to find more joy in life. So we looked for other careers. But in the meantime, when he moved down and quit his job, I stayed working. And we just, again, kind of a lot of faith, a lot of leaping all in with a plan, but not an exact plan, but sort of a plan. So he's living there, and I said, I got this funny email, babe. And he's like, what? I said, it's called Be Your Own Boss, BYOB. It was this TV show, kind of like the House Hunters. They had 3 businesses they were going to give you to look at, offer you 3 different businesses. You can choose which one you want. You kind of give them your parameters of maybe your price range, location, what you want to do. And so we did. And so we thought, well, this might be something interesting. We put the application in. We weren't looking to be on a TV show or anything, and yet this kind of found us. It was some random email I got. So we put the application in. We get a call the next day from someone on the casting. We like your story. Can you send us a few pictures? So we sent a few pictures. We love the whole storyline, and we like you guys, and we like what you guys want to buy a business together, and this might be something that'll work. We're like, all right. So we send a video in. So we do a video, and one step after another, it led into them calling us one day, and I don't know, a few months later, saying, we've chosen you to be one of the couples to be on our show. And we thought, great. We thought, we want to buy a business. They'll help us vet it out and give us a few choices. So this is kind of how it all unfolded. I'm still practicing law, and in fact, I'm ready to go into my trial. So I'm prepping for the trial. This TV show, BYOB, comes to us. We're dealing with all of that. We're doing the filming at the house, behind here and there, and they're showing these different businesses. And we're trying to map out our future, and I'm trying to finish up the trial so I can give my notice. And sure enough, what happened was, we found a hair salon in Orange County by the beach, not far from the Surf and Sand Hotel. We both quit our careers. I gave my notice at the law firm. We decided this is it. We've finally set the stage. Everything is coming together. We've waited, it's been 3.5 years now. We were so excited, actually almost 4 years at that point, and we were so excited. Our careers were going to be together side by side every day going into our business. We're going to live together. We had this beautiful home together. The kids were there. Our friends and families were visiting. It was just, everything was lining up, and it felt like we could breathe, like it was just finally all coming together. All the things we had talked about and imagined, we're hoping for, and it all finally fell into place. And all the work and all the risks and all the things and all the going all in and all the risks we took and not wanting to miss those shots, it was finally coming together. And we were so excited. Our lives were just starting.
As we close this episode of Weaving Happiness Through Grief, I want to thank you for joining me on this journey of remembrance, resilience, and rediscovery. Loss is a path none of us choose, but together we can walk through it, honoring the love that was and of the life that still awaits us. If today's story touched a part of your own journey, know that you're not alone. Grief, though profound, doesn't close us off from joy. It teaches us how to hold space for both love and loss. And sometimes, it opens our hearts to unexpected new beginnings. Join me next time as we continue to explore healing, acceptance, and the beautiful bittersweet moments that remind us life can still be filled with happiness. And remember, while we honor the love that has shaped us, we open ourselves to the hope that the future holds. Please head over to the show notes to find out more of the ways I offer guidance on the topics I discussed in the podcast, or visit thestephanieduran.com. Until next time, take gentle steps forward, hold your memories close, and know that joy and love, in all its forms, continues on.